Afternoon, good evening, wherever you're coming from, and welcome to another session of What's the Point? Exploring the joy of purpose, talking to mission-driven entrepreneurs. My name is Andrew Miller from Business Enjoyment, and at the heart of Business Enjoyment is that concept of purpose. When we know what it is that we're doing and why we're doing it, enjoyment comes as a consequence of that. If you want to know a bit more about the overall ethos of business enjoyment and a little bit more about what I've just alluded to there, then feel free to have a look at my TED Talk. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, there'll be a link there in the profile, or there's a featured post, or you can follow the link that's just come through there. That'll tell you why I do what I do, what business enjoyment's all about, and give you a few hints on that front. But that's enough about me. Let's get our guest on for the show now. I've got Jan Cavelle coming on now, who has just released her second book. Jan was on my podcast, The Tingle Zone, 2 years almost to the day, and we've not had a proper catch up since then. At that point, she just released a book about scaling up, and now her second book's out as well. So feel free to go back and listen to that podcast with Jan. But I thought it'd be a good idea to catch up, find out what's happening between, which is obviously the book, and get you to find out about a little bit about her and what she stands for. So welcome me in joining Jan, and let's find out what is the point of Jan Cavelle.
Andrew, it's lovely to be back here chatting to you, as you say, two years to the date. The point of Jan Cavelle for me is to share knowledge and what it's really like in the world of entrepreneurship.
Oops. And sharing knowledge is obviously a great thing to do. That's like giving back to what you've done. So just give us a flavour. Why is that important to you? What is it you want to achieve with that knowledge, and why should people be interested in the knowledge you have to share?
Well, I was, as you know, but lots of people probably don't, I was an entrepreneur for more years than I care to name. And I had some success and made some mistakes, as we all do. And so I write partly through genuine knowledge of a lifetime in the game. And I also add into that, and I promised I wouldn't mention writing this earlier. I do, so I am so sorry, Andrew. I knew I'd do it. But sharing knowledge, I also talk, so it's not just writing. But yeah, I mean, I think for entrepreneurs, it can be a lonely life, and I think it's sometimes difficult to go out and find knowledge that is a really true picture. I know it was for me. It was very isolating. I was a single mom, and I couldn't relate to anybody, particularly in local businesses, because I was in a high growth one. And I think that source of knowledge and that feeling that you belong in a tribe of people that you relate to is terribly important for people. Really important.
No, absolutely. And what I do is building that community to
Yeah.
help people talk to each other, pass ideas, because there's never one way of doing anything. It's finding lots of inspiration and adapting it to your own circumstances, isn't it?
Definitely, and it is very much about community for me, because I've developed this wonderful network of people I talk to, learn from, and share their knowledge as well, for over the last few years, and even since I've talked to you, or probably more so in the last 2 years. It's a constant source of wow to me.
And this is a small question with a big answer, but see if you can come up with something relevant. But if you were to give one piece of advice to anybody in business, and let's tie in, there's someone who's just started, maybe they're just new into business, what would be the message that you would give to them?
Stay true to you, because I think you really come unstuck when you do things that don't feel right, but other people are telling you it's the right thing to do. So yeah, be authentically true to you and your gut always, and you can't go too well. You may go wrong, but it doesn't matter actually if you go wrong.
So I was just a question there. What do your views in terms of people finding it difficult to know who they actually are?
That's a really good question. I mean, it does take a long time. And I think one of the reasons it takes such a long time is because there is so much pressure, so many other voices in your ear telling you what other people think you are, and therefore you end up believing it. And I mean, it can take decades. I know it took me a long while to really get a feel for, gosh, that is me. Oh, you almost forget whether you like, cheese or Marmite on your bread. It's difficult to identify who you really are sometimes with too many voices.
And I think that's within that is a key thing, is the sense of patience kind of thing, because people think, oh, I'll start a business and I'll become a millionaire overnight and all that kind of stuff, and it's like, no, this is a long game. This is you want to get to a decent level quite quickly, but it's you constantly learning about business and, as you say, learning about yourself. The two go hand in hand as you progress, don't they?
Absolutely, definitely. And I think it's even harder than ever to switch off the voices now, because of course the service industry is so enormous, even in comparison to when I was in business, that you can't breathe or go on social media or go to a networking event without 5 service people pouncing on you and telling you how to do this or what to do about that, which one in those 5 might be terribly, terribly good at what they do. But the fact remains is it's really difficult to still believe that you have your own plan. Yeah, I get emails from people. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. It's become a sort of standard approach for people to say, "Oh, I can help you with your goal," and I'm scratching my head thinking, "How the hell do you know what my goal is?"
Yeah. I got connected by somebody on LinkedIn, and she was a book coach, and I thought, well, it's always I'll connect with anybody. I'll speak to anybody, me, because the thing is, it's, as you say, it's community, it's collaboration. I'm not, there's
Yeah.
no, and before we'd even sort of entered any conversation, I was direct messages saying, do you need? Have you ever thought about writing a book? Have you looked at my profile at all?
Yeah.
It's right there in the strap line. So it's like,
It's
yeah,
crazy, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, the lack of research in people's approaches is, well, it's a whole different hour on a podcast, that one.
You mentioned earlier on that some Lucas, that you're always learning, and there's so much that you've learned in the last couple of years. So, let's say it's 2 years since we've had a catch up. We'll get on to the book itself, but what would you say is the biggest learning you've had in the last couple of years?
I think there's been so many. I mean, I think
You're allowed a couple. It's all right. It's fine.
am I? Oh, good. That's all right then. I think a lot of it is to do with change, and I think that goes twofoldly. I think both for myself personally, I've changed and developed more than I thought I could do at any time in my life, live alone. You know, I mean, the Scale, bless it, had really bad timing because it was right at the beginning of COVID, almost the first month, I think, of COVID, it came out. You know, so it wasn't exactly high on everybody's agenda, and people are wonderfully talking about this one a lot more. So, you know, we'll see where it leads.
Yeah, and you know, the book's one thing. It's how you make use of it beyond that, because as you say, your mission is to get information out there, and you
Yeah,
know you talk and speak. So the books are done, and they can supplement what you do in order to keep getting the messages out.
they can, though. You know, my intention hadn't been to do any sort of major reboot of my career. I just wanted to quietly write in my corner here, you know.
Damn you,
So
mission.
I know, I know. That's why it's so hard to answer your first question without saying right for the second word, if not the first.
But I with my first book, that came out a few years after. It was all about helping people through insolvency, and it came out not long after. Well, the learnings came from people having gone through the 2008 recession,
Yeah,
and it came out
I
about
remember that.
2013, and it sort of did okay, but actually it had a resurgence at the start of lockdown. So, and starting to have again now, and winning awards and that kind of thing. So it took 10 years for it to become kind of recognised.
Is that funny? Wow.
Because, and this is my point, is that you are you, and you keep doing what you do. The things that you've created will find their time and their place when they need to find their time and their place.
I think you're right. I think you're right. And, you know, as I say, I know that, you know, the amount I learned second time round is enormous. So, you know, hopefully there'll be something special. But I do think and this is thanks to the people involved, I think it's what people say about it is it's really authentic about what entrepreneurship is, and that's something that doesn't often happen. People write an awful lot of fluff about it sometimes, or people write who've never been one. Bless them, and you know they may have some brilliant ideas, but it doesn't actually give you you know, and ideas have their place. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting sort of people who write brilliant ideas books down, because some of them are astounding. But there is a different thing for people who are new or very isolated in entrepreneurship. The idea that of what it's really like, and that you're part of a set of people who get it, is enormously important, I think. And books don't tend to do that.
Yeah, there's often an expectation, which again, as you sort of alluded to before, we sort of put on ourselves, that we're just expected to know it all.
Yeah, isn't there just? Yes. Yeah, I got out of bed this morning and became an entrepreneur. Tick. Yeah.
And being able to acknowledge that we don't, and look for, ask the questions, look for solutions, because they are there.
Absolutely, very much so. And again, you know, I keep on saying it, but it's true. It's thanks to the people there, because they were very honest about the things they got wrong, and the fact they learned so much along the way and put their feet in it, same as I did all the time, you know, and that's what makes it, I think, so useful, because people learn from that a lot better than somebody who's going, you know, I got everything perfect, but there, you know, you'll be all right in the end. You know, it doesn't make you feel good as you read.
Yeah, because there's that quote about success leaves clues, or something like that, isn't it, kind of thing? And like, well, yes, it does, but did they actually understand why they were successful?
Yeah, exactly.
It's all very well being somewhere. The quote I've used, well, the analogy I've used before, can't remember to be on this before, but you know, that whole quote about and if you've got an infinite number of monkeys and infinite number of typewriters, and one of them will eventually create the works of Shakespeare or any other sort of work of art. I would just imagine what would actually happen if that were to occur, and the monkey in charge would suddenly be on every chat show going, and then having a course out on how to write the complete works of Shakespeare, and then you two can have this, and have his own program, and have another book and all that sort of stuff. But he won't actually have known how he's done it. It would just be a probability circumstance that led to it.
That's so true, isn't it? Yeah, and people would entirely miss for how he'd done it. Yeah,
and blind luck. Whereas those
mostly, yep,
the learnings are through the failures, and it's absolutely true.
definitely. Yeah,
And again, that is that back to that mindset you're talking, is that, and the longer term thing, it's persistence, and you're not going to get it right the first time, and you are going to mess it up, and it is going to be difficult at times.
absolutely. And that mistakes aren't failure, that they are learning.
Absolutely. In fact, if you're not making mistakes, you're definitely doing something wrong.
You're going nowhere if you don't make mistakes.
Beautiful. Is there anything else you'd like to add around the book, or a message to anyone that's listening?
But firstly, I really hope you enjoy it. Please let me know. And if you do enjoy it, could you bear to leave a review? Because reviews for all writers are absolute gold dust. They're what makes books sell. So please, if you enjoy it, share it with others.
Excellent. And I'm just going to disappear a moment and bring up your web link. If you just want to sort of talk through where people can find the book.
I will indeed. Yeah, absolutely. You can find the book at all the usual suspects. You can find it at Amazon. You can find it at Barnes and Noble. I always forget all the others, but all the usual places online. And a lot of the links for whichever country you're in are on my website on the Start for Success book page. And if you still can't find anywhere who will flog you one at that point, please do drop me an email and I will send one out to you personally. But I think you will find lots of links on there, hopefully, when Andrew has managed to bring it up. If he has. I'm sure he'll be back with us in a minute. I don't know what's going on there. He's gone silent.
I should be back now.
You are back now.
I can't. I went the wrong way around. Doesn't matter. You're on the left. I'm on the right. There we go. Yes, no, you had your web page up, your Jan Cavelle one, which you've got both books on there, but obviously look for you in the.
Absolutely, yeah. Just press the right one. Press for Start for Success, and well, you can press either one if you want to buy them. But all the actual links as to where to buy are on Start for Success.
Yeah, fabulous. Jan, thank you so much for coming on and catching up. It's been great to see you again.
Yeah.
Congratulations on book 2.
Thank you.
And I will let you go now and say farewell to the viewers, and we'll catch up later.
Thank you so much, Andrew.
Thank you. So I hope you enjoyed that introduction to Jan. As I say, have a look at her books, have a look at the Tingle Zone, for the podcast, and get more about her journey and her story. So I say that came out 2 years ago, so you'll have to trawl back a little bit, but it is there. And that's it for tonight. So thank you so much for coming on. I hope you got some tips and nuggets out of it, but I urge you to go and look further, and I will catch up with you at the next one of these. My name is Andrew Miller from Business Enjoyment,